talking about juicing.
And what a fun topic. I mean, it actually has to do with if you really think about what we're putting into our bodies, it is everything about who we are. And as we've talked about before, I think it's every 6 months, all the tissue in your body, with a couple of exceptions, are replaced.
Well, frequently, at different rates for different parts of the body. But the more important thing here, I think, the message I want to get across is we tend to be the knew it, not do it person.
Right.
There's so much knowledge and wisdoms out there. We tend just to say, well, I know it, but I just didn't do anything about it.
I love that phrase, the knew it, not do it. And I have to confess that I was the knew it, not do it. So I lost almost 95 pounds, but I actually, over time, and literally within the last 4 months, gained a lot of that back, about 20 pounds of it back. So I decided to get very serious about it, did the juicing, and I've lost 6 pounds of it. So we will let you know how my personal journey goes.
My point on that is, either juicing or something else. The end point or the goal is actually health.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully in that process we're losing weight. That's going toward health too. It's not just purely for that.
Sure.
Now, to the questions will we have for listeners who haven't started juicing, it's like the first one is, well, why are we juicing? Is raw food better, more beneficial for us or not?
AC's fixed.
So, is raw food better or cooked food better for us?
Definitely raw.
You know what? That's another thing about balance. Balance.
Mm-hmm.
We like to choose right or wrong because this is how we like to view the world, black or white.
Sure.
Right or wrong. But remember this: there's a balance to it. There are always two sides of everything. Everything has two sides.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to keep that in mind because we tend to choose. It's multiple choice type of
We do
world.
make me feel better because when I juice, I actually drink it and then I put the leftover
You're
pulp
amazing.
and make a soup out of it. And so then, but I also try to cook at very low temperatures. So that, because I've talked just like Dr. Kim, our previous guest, she mentioned that you shouldn't be going above about 115 to 130 degrees. And so I put it in on warm, and then the next day, it actually turns into a good soup/stew.
So my take on this is the raw food has its own benefit. The argument is nutrients in nutrition, vitamins are not disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not destroyed by heat or cooking or additives or anything.
Also, to answer your question, why people should be juicing, that Dr. Lee is herself has been a major impact on my life. As if any of you have been following our show religiously,
Because you do it, not just knew it.
Yeah, also true. But I tend to take a lot of vitamin supplements, and Dr. Lee said, it would be a lot better to get it out of actual food sources. So I made that commitment. It's a little bit more complicated because to try to figure out how much vitamin you have in each of the vegetables or whatever, it's a little bit more complicated. However, just knowing that you're eating the right things that are good for you over time, I can have less supplementation and get it naturally.
Right. So the taking on the raw or cooked food.
Mm-hmm.
So the raw food has undisturbed nutrition, but sometimes disturbance or cooking actually makes certain nutritions easier to digest and absorb.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some good sides on that. Also, some of the nutrients are better absorbed with fat, such as vitamin A rich vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
They are actually better absorbed. The nutrient vitamin A is better absorbed with some cooking oil.
Interesting.
So there are both sides of my recommendations. Do both.
Mm-hmm.
Some days this, some days that, and you get best of the both worlds.
Very confirming. Since I do both.
And another benefit of raw food is you don't have the additives.
Mm-hmm.
very low oil content or any, if any.
Mhm.
No, less chemical additives and preservatives, versus the stuff you can buy or cook.
I would warn you, however, that if you're not getting truly organic food, it's surprising to me that they actually don't list everything. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's where the outcry is, hey, that has pesticides in it. Well, how
Right.
much pesticide? I don't know.
Right. The FDA on meat, I was
Mhm.
reading about that. They say inspected.
Inspected.
That's all they say. Inspected.
Frustrating.
Is that a conclusion?
Yeah,
or
what a journey to try to
disclosure?
get just natural food.
Those are meat packagings.
Mm.
Yeah, it was just interesting reading about it. To say, well,
By
what does that
who?
mean? Yeah, well, by FDA, but
Okay.
so what?
Right.
So what did you find?
What do they do? Right.
It's not listed always.
Mhm.
So the second question is, why are we juicing instead of eating the vegetables and fruits? Why is it better? You would think intuitively the whole fruit or the whole vegetable would be more nutritious, has more fiber,
Mhm.
less disturbed. Why are we juicing?
Right. I would say.
Did you have that question?
Yeah, I did
before you
have that
started?
question. And you also might say, well, why would somebody like me be juicing and then putting it into a soup? Well, I will give one answer, is that if I literally tried to eat that many vegetables, I just don't think that I could do it. Meaning that I'm a very disciplined person, but if I were constantly eating as much as I was putting into the juicer and then putting into the soup, the fact that at least when it goes into a soup, I can eat it one spoon at a time rather than trying to choke down, like celery. How many stalks of celery can I actually eat and still not want to?
Well, you were very disciplined. Most people throw away all the residual or fiber, pulp. So the rationale behind this choice of juicing is basically you're comparing different portions.
Mhm.
Yes, the whole fruits and vegetables is better for you, but you can only eat 1 or 2 portions. But when you're juicing, you're getting 8 or 10 portions.
Right.
So you're getting, yes, a little fewer percentage of the nutrition, but on a much bigger portion base.
Also, my family, which has, as we discussed in the previous segment, juicing with fruit versus vegetables, I tend to drink just the vegetable juice. So, for example, last night I had bell peppers, I juiced a lot of bell peppers, and what else did I put in there? Carrots, and also put in kale. And there's no way my family members are going to be drinking that. It's not good to the palate. However, if I put the residual of that into the soup and the stew, then they'll eat that.
Yes, that's a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question would be, why would I be juicing if I can buy juices?
Lots of answers to that one. I'll let you take that because I know that you have specific answers. I could talk for 5 minutes on that one. Go ahead.
Well, we should try to keep it brief.
Yes, I will.
Because this one, I think it's pretty easy to get the message across. If you juice yourself once, do your own juicing, you'll see how the juice color will eventually change and then
Right.
oxidize. What makes the stuff you buy on the shelf not change? Doesn't it make you wonder?
Preservatives.
We don't know what it is for sure. But if we suspect there are additives, we do know for sure there's sugar.
Mhm.
There's other things that we normally don't put in there that we would juice at home. So you
Right.
know exactly what you're doing, what's put in there.
Mhm.
That would be a very strong reason to do it yourself instead of buying.
Agreed.
So we had quite a few good reasons to believe juicing is good for us. Also versus eating vegetables and fruits, because of juicing makes it easier to digest, easier to absorb.
Uh-huh.
Instead of chewing it down to make it digest, you use the machine to help you with that. So it's a little bit shortcut there.
If I could talk about that just a little bit, a lot of our health has to do with health on a cellular level. So in other words, if you could view my hands right here, for those of you on the radio, I apologize, those of you watching YouTube, this will make more sense, that when our cells are healthy, they're open, and then so there can be a pass-through of good nutrients into them, and the waste can also be washed out of them when you drink water. But when it crunches up, because it's trying to our health system, our cells get stressed, and they actually keep a hold of the toxins, and they don't wash out well, and they also, because they're trying to keep out the toxins, are not getting the nutrients into them. So when you juice, as in anything in your body, it actually, that juice begins to give the message, there's good nutrients coming through, the poisons are no longer here, that opens back up, it gets rid of so when they talk about detoxing, you're getting rid of all those toxins that were there on a cellular level, and that juice will actually come inside and give good nutrients. Will actually start feeling younger, looking younger. There's a lot of things about juicing that I've just been amazed. Go ahead.
That's right. So basically, we kind of went over all the commonly asked questions, why we should juice, why juicing is good for us.
Mm-hmm.
And when we come back from the break, we're actually going to just touch a little bit more about juicing and go on to our health tip of the day,
Mm-hmm.
on some dental health old or new tips.
Which are very, very good, and there's some specific reasons that I'm excited to hear and talk about those too. So don't go away. We'll be right back after the break.